What you are about to watch is Mermaids on Animal Planet, A Body Found. A show about man's evolution to walk upright, swim with the fish, and to eat the face off another human being in Miami, Florida. This is brought to you by the Rayman and Guyblow Show. However, in no way, shape, or form do the sounds from the television or the video coming from the television represent anything that we have created. We will only be talking during commercials. If you are chatting, I cannot see it. Guyblow will be answering all your requests today, so please address him as such. Enjoy the show.
I believe we landed on the moon, and I believe Oswald shot JFK. Okay. No, to believe our government covered up these events requires proof. A conspiracy theory, like any theory, needs proof. So that's the first question I'd ask me. Where's your proof? In 1997, scientists from NOAA recorded a sound in the deep Pacific. It's thought to be organic in nature and has never been identified. It's called the bloop. In the early 2000s, it was proved that the Navy beached whales while testing sonar weapons. For years, the Navy denied that they were responsible for these beachings. These are facts. And in some of the incidents, there were reports of something else washing up with the whales. In 2004, two boys were the first to arrive on a mass whale beaching in Washington State. They captured it on a cell phone. The boys claimed they saw something that day. They claimed they saw a body. And they went on record claiming they saw a body.
That's the video I just sent you.
That official record was later changed, and the Navy took the remains.
Computer's so slow.
I know this because I was part of the team investigating that beaching and what the Navy did that day. And I believe I know what it is that they took.
Cliffs Beach, Washington State, April 4th, 2004. Site of the largest mass whale beaching in United States history. A Seattle-based research team from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is quickly on the scene to investigate the cause of the mass beaching. Heading the research was respected marine biologist Dr. Brian McCormick. In 2000, McCormick had published a landmark study that linked mass whale beachings to experimental Navy sonar weapons testing. It led to the program's suspension that same year. Dr. McCormick and his team suspected that the Navy had begun operating their sonar once more. Now, two members of that team have agreed to speak on camera for the first time about what they claim the Navy discovered but has never disclosed.
I remember looking out over the dunes, and the scale was incredible. I'd never seen anything like it. My name's Paul Robertson. I was a research assistant with Dr. McCormick, working at NOAA for several years by then. By the time we got there, the wind was so bad that it had driven everyone else off the beach, and a storm was coming in, so it was just us and the Navy. They'd cordoned off a section of beach, and there were guys in hazmat suits. It could have been biologists or medical staff, we weren't sure, but that got our attention.
Brian was one of the first scientists to draw a connection between the mass beachings and Navy sonar use. He was the most experienced in these events, but
She looks like Ellen
he
from
had
Seinfeld.
never seen anything like this before.
Elaine.
I'm Rebecca Davis.
Is your mic on, by the
I
way?
was a field biologist at NOAA. I was working in the Marine Mammals Division before I joined Dr. McCormick's lab in 1999. Blood was visible coming from the ears of the whales. We had never seen that before, where every whale was bleeding from the ears.
Terrible.
This meant that they had all suffered
Some things are alright, like when Elaine from Seinfeld is on it, it's alright.
We took multiple organ tissue samples, and we were going to study those under the microscope to determine cause of death.
Yeah, it just depends what the
packed as
pixels
quickly
are.
as we
Some
could,
things are
but
alright,
Brian
some things are bad.
wouldn't leave. He wanted to get as many samples as he could because he wanted to know what the Navy was doing out there. After the Navy left, we went down to where they'd been working, and none of the animals had been cut open. They hadn't been autopsied. We had no idea what they would be doing down there.
In prior beachings where the Navy was implicated, the NOAA team found whales that had died from suffocation injuries. It is believed the loud sound of the Navy's sonar scared the whales into the shallows where they stranded themselves. Without water to support their massive weight, the whales' internal organs collapsed, slowly suffocating them. That's what the NOAA team expected to find in the autopsy remains. Signs of internal organ collapse. They found something else instead.
When we looked at the samples, we expected to see evidence of trauma. The bleeding from the ears indicated as much. What we were not prepared for was the extent. The internal organs hadn't collapsed. What we were seeing was consistent with blunt force trauma. There were circular lesions on the samples, clear evidence of damage, and these were in every sample that we'd taken. Brian had an immediate theory: infrasound. Very powerful, ultra-low frequency sound waves that could theoretically be weaponized and potentially be used to devastating effect. They would slam into living tissue with incredible speed and incredible force. Those slides showed evidence of catastrophic impact injury that we believed was caused by a new kind of Navy sonar. A sonic blast that did more than just scare whales into the shallows. This sonar seemed to kill them.
Well, Brian realized that we didn't need the tissue to test our theory. We have, NOAA has these arrays that record audio, marine life, seismic activity, and one of these buoys was very close by. So we know it was likely that we had recorded the whole event. The sonar blast, the whale reactions, everything. Well, first there was the sound of the whale vocalizations, which we expected. And then there was what we now understand to be the priming of the sonar weapon. And then there was a moment of silence, and this proved to be the calm before the storm, because then it was bam. It was pretty awful to listen to. Brian was so preoccupied with cataloging this sonic blast that he almost missed what else was there. There was another sound on the recording, an animal call, and we realized that this was a bloop signature. the same creature that Noah had recorded back in 1997. But in this case, our recording was much longer. It was the most complex, intricate animal call I had ever heard. And we had no idea what it made the sound. All we knew was that a creature that had only been heard once in human history had just resurfaced.
Pizza Hut.
Uh-oh.
So there you have it.
I don't know, guy.
Turn your mic on.
No. Oh, yeah, it is.
So, what did you think? First little part here of Mermaids, brought to you by Animal Planet. A body found.
What I thoroughly enjoy about it is that the premise is military cover-up, well, naval in this case. And, I just enjoy that type of thing. Just I feel like that those type of defense departments definitely have the most intelligence as far as any type of human being on the planet, and as far as being in the know.
Yeah, that's the one thing that makes this extremely intriguing.
Because if it was just a bunch of other scientists saying, well, there's 5 scientists that say they found it, and that's it, I really wouldn't be that interested. But since it's a Navy cover-up, that's what makes me kind of glued to the TV right now.
Now, there's the video, we understand, isn't that great on the television. It's the best we can do, and we figured you'd rather watch if you can't watch at home than watch my face the whole time. So, Guy Blow, has there been any comments in the chat about sound quality or anything to that nature?
No, because we are the only ones on the live stick cam feed. Because right now for personal tags, we have Black Tie Affair, Bud Light, Comedy, Drinking, Funny.
Hold on, let me mute this.
I'm not saying that if you put down Mermaid Body Found on the personal tags that the chat room would flood, but...
Wasn't Murison in there, though?
He was. And then he realized that we're watching Mermaids, the Body Found, and he left.
No, he knew that we were doing this. So, alright. Yeah, video looks decent enough.
Yeah, the video outputs, it's weird. It's like certain pixels and certain colors show up fine. But then when it moves too fast, you can tell just that the refresh rate can't pick it up, so it looks weird.
So, is there anything else you want to discuss? You want to kind of fast forward this first commercial?
Yeah, the only thing that was really interesting to me was that doctor looked exactly like Jerry Seinfeld's girlfriend Elaine in the sitcom Seinfeld.
Yep, and that's what we're here for, to give you that kind of commentary, folks.
Oh, not only that, but they really shouldn't be allowed to say that that's actual footage. Obviously, that's a gross reenactment. The 2009 Navy base that we just saw.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not real footage. It's impossible. It wouldn't look like that.
I would agree for the most part, except for that to get out, someone had to really get pissed off and get fucked around with on something, and that might be all you could get out. There's more footage to come. I didn't see the quote there until this time that I watched it, where it says this is live video this is allegedly video footage from 2009 naval base. I wasn't aware of that. I thought it was just a thing that they did to try and make you a little nervous. Yeah. So they play it multiple times throughout. So
did you know that other people like Doug Benson and a few other comedians on Twitter actually do the same type of process? Just like a live chat and watch, a live tweet and greet while we watch a show together.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty popular way to get listeners because, you know, what's better than watching a movie or a show or a documentary with, let's just say, 100 people.
Oh,
Once
yeah,
we do it
except
for a while.
normal-
And then during commercials, we won't fast forward them. We just come back and discuss
Right.
with each other.
Because not everyone has the privilege of DVR or the skill that I have on the double fast forward.
This is true.
So, it's about to start here. Do you want to hit the unlock button for Butters in case he gets here in a minute? That way
Yeah.
he can just walk right in. And then we're going to start.
I've seen the footage that was supposedly taken in Beaufort. I don't know if that particular video is real or not. It doesn't really matter. The Navy keeps a tight grip on all classified information, but even they've come to realize that no matter what they do to prevent it, there will be occasional leaks. And when there is a leak, they've learned how to control it.
What's up, brother?
It's no surprise that the Beaufort video was immediately branded a fake. The Navy tells us it's not real.
Yeah, the only thing
Brian, our Butters, has finally showed up here. We're about 15 minutes in. And if you want to just hit the lights, get yourself situated, grab a spot on the couch. There should be a mic plugged in for you.
Yeah, the blue mic right there.
No, blue mic is for the sound on the television. That's fine. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, the only thing you missed really right now is they're just setting it up with like the whole fact that the Navy's covering up these mermaids, and then they showed the sound dissection of the mermaids, and and then some footage from the 2009 Navy base of the mermaids, and then now that's what they're talking about.
And the only thing you need to remember is if you plan on talking at all during this, it needs to be into a microphone.
Sweet. Wait, I kind of zoned out.
Of course you did. You're a stoner.
So not true. So
Check
the
mic,
Navy's
1,
trying
2.
to cover it up, you said.
Yeah, that's what the premise is so far. The Navy knows about the mermaids. They're trying to cover it up.
All right.
And then this is the footage of the 2009 Navy base of where they're supposedly hiding out the mermaid.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of far-fetched shit so far, but
All right.
Check mic, 1, 2. Check. Check. Check.
oh, I don't have headphones on, bro. Just talking to it again.
Check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
When you see how many people.
Yeah, right now it's just on stick cam. We could go on the actual network, but I think it would be tough with just filming or just doing the audio of Animal Planet throughout there. So we're seeing if we can generate people on stick cam. Right now there's only me and Rayman logged into the stick cam chat. But I'm sending out tweets with this hashtag because this show's actually on right now.
Oh, got it.
But we're just a little behind because of pausing it, and then also we were late, so we rewound it. Yo, what's up? Let's do this. I'll text it to you because I'm watching Mermaids. It's on Animal Planet. Tune in, bro.
Bremison, I see that you just joined us on the stick cam chat. We're gonna hit play here in a second.
Yo, it's a documentary about real life mermaids.
I can see what you're saying. I just can't type because the computer's set up on the television. So if you could,
Yeah, no, I'm dead ass. It's
if you could just when we turn it on, if the sound is good, just let us know the sound is good. We already know the video is tough.
Yeah, we're
but,
watching fucking,
let me know.
River monsters, mermaids.
Are you ready here? Or are you? Who's that? Latino?
Exactly.
Gablo, we're trying to do internet radio here.
Yeah, but yeah, I'll text you.
By the way, congratulations to my father. Apparently, he's getting married a third time.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Oh, like talking?
Whenever a leak happens, the military has a way of using its influence to make the general public believe what they want them to believe.
Wow.
What I can't tell you is that I've seen a creature in the Navy's possession.
Wow, guy.
We took it after the first test in Washington State.
All right, well, I'll text you.
I
It's
was
back
on the
on.
beach that day, but we weren't the first ones there.
All right, wait. Fucking Just Insider.
In the months following the stranding in Washington State, the NOAA team responded to a sharp increase in mass beachings along both American coasts. Similar mass beaching events were being reported all over the globe.
Rescuers are racing against the clock, trying to save nearly 200 pilot whales that beached themselves in southern Australia Monday.
这条长9.7米的抹香鲸，体重超过5吨，年龄在2到3岁，雄性。
6 bottlenose dolphins also beached themselves, something scientists say is very uncommon. This is the 4th incident of its kind in recent months in the same part of southern Australia. And scientists really don't know why it's happening.
This was happening all over the world. So now we're following beachings elsewhere. We alerted marine agencies to what we discovered with the sonar blasts. And we begin hearing about other things. Reports of bodies washing up with the whales. Rumors of something else washing up with them. And in every case, there was always authorities on hand to control the scene. But at the time, we just wanted to stop the beachings from ever happening again.
In some of these events, not only were there reports of bodies being found, but something else. These had been reported before. Not bodies, but spears. For years, deep-sea fishermen all over the world have found them. Found them in fish, caught in the open ocean. German news archives contain an interview with a fisherman who had his own experience with this strange phenomenon.
Mein Name ist Hans Bauer. Ich bin im Hafen von Sutridge aufgewachsen. Ich bin schon ein Fischer mein ganzes Leben. In den 70er Jahren aus Bremerhaven haben wir Kabeljau und Stockfisch aus der Baltischen geholt. Wo wir am Aufwachsen waren, haben wir öfter so Geschichten gehört, komische Geschichten, auf was Leute im Fischen gefunden haben. Bloß, ich kam nicht daran, ich musste warten, bis ich wirklich auf Tiefwasser in dem Bernhole war. Und da haben wir gefischt und da wurde ich plötzlich selbstbewusst darauf. Da haben wir gesehen, tote Fische, Fische mit Speeren in den Seiten. Davon habe ich schon viele gesehen. Auf einen Trip habe ich meine Kamera mitgebracht. Ich wollte Fotografien machen vom Walfischen für meinen Sohn. Auf denselben Trip, wo wir die Netze daraus brachten. In einem Netz, da war was, hat sich so komisch bewegt und als wenn es so rausklettern wollte. Und ich bin ganz schnell gegangen, ich habe meine Kamera geholt und ich habe das Bild genommen. Ich glaube, hier ist was die Speere macht. Ich glaube, wir stören hier jemands Fischgebiet.
I can't really make
We
anything out of
petitioned
that.
the Department of Defense for information, and we sought injunctions against the Navy, but it didn't get us anywhere. The Navy claimed that they were merely studying the anomalies, that they weren't the cause of them.
For those of you that are only watching on Stickcam, not watching along with us on TV and couldn't see the subtitles, basically what that dude was saying is that he's a fisherman and that one day he was trying to catch whales and take a picture to show his son, and he saw something in the water. It looked like a mermaid, apparently to him in real life. If you're watching on television, it looks like a black blob on the picture.
Yeah, I couldn't make anything out of that picture whatsoever.
Yeah, so take from that what you will. We are moving on.
We continued to build the profiles of these events, and we went over the one thing we did have, which was the recording. We listened to and analyzed this recording, I don't know how many times, and we made comparisons with whales and dolphins. But this thing, to our ears, sounded much more intricate, much more advanced. And we thought we had a reasonable chance to crack the code, but it was still beyond us. We needed help.
My name is Dr. Rodney Webster. I'm currently at the University of South Florida. I specialize in animal communications. I focus mainly on the field of cetacean vocalizations, dolphins and whales. A lot of what I do in my work is I search for signifiers, which are, particular sounds to which you can attach a meaning or a mood. You and I would refer to them as words. So they're words for dolphins. What's so interesting about the 2004 recording is that I could identify literally hundreds of signifiers and arrange these into recognizable patterns. We had not gathered this kind of information in the previous 30 years of studying dolphins and whales.
But that wasn't all that Dr. Webster found in their recording.
I noticed that there were some pitch changes in the bloop in certain parts of the recording. So I ran a spectrogram analysis of the data and in the frequencies that were above the range of human hearing. And this is what I found. This is it at original speed, with the whale sounds removed. I then slowed the recording down into the range of human hearing. Here it is at 1/3 of its original speed. Multiple individuals, literally thousands of different signifiers, at least half dozen individual voice prints. So what you see here is language. They're talking to one another.
What animal could possibly have a language so complex, so sophisticated? Our theory was this was a new species of dolphin, but there's another theory we should have considered sooner. The aquatic ape theory. It's a theory about us, really, about where we come from. And I know it's always been controversial, but now I think there's really something to it. Why are we so different from other terrestrial animals? According to the theory, it's because there was a time when early humans spent much of their lives in the sea. And the traits that make us so different from other land animals are a legacy from this period. We can control our breathing like marine mammals and hold our breath longer than any other land animal. The human record for breath holding is nearly 20 minutes. That's almost as long as a dolphin can dive. Compared to our closest relatives, the apes, we have a much more flexible spine, and we have partial webbing between our fingers and toes that they don't have. These are features for an aquatic environment. Why have them unless to help us swim? And human babies hold their breath underwater automatically. They instinctively know how to swim, whereas a baby chimp or gorilla would drown. And unlike other apes, we shed our hair. Hair creates drag in water, and we have a thick layer of insulating fat that keeps us warm in water. The only other animals born with as thick a fat layer are exclusively marine mammals. Some humans are so well adapted for life underwater that they still hunt at the bottom of the sea, walking across the ocean floor. The Moken people of Southeast Asia can contract their pupils at will to control for water distortion. They actually see underwater as clearly as if they were wearing a mask. And in some places in the world, humans are still so proficient in the water that they can catch fish without hooks or nets. All of these adaptations for life in the water, but we lack adaptations that are commonplace in other land animals. We shed salty tears and sweat, Salt and water are valuable resources. Other land animals have efficient ways of conserving them. We don't. Why? Because part of our evolution took place in the sea. Now, this is all theoretical, but the land-to-sea transition has happened before. It's documented science. Orcas have evolved from a wolf-like ancestor millions of years ago, and there are more recent examples. 150,000 years ago, a fractional amount of evolutionary time, a group of brown bears split from the rest of their line. They evolved into a new species. They became polar bears. Polar bears are capable of holding their breath for minutes at a time underwater. They've even developed webbing in their front paws to help them swim. They are currently, before our eyes, evolving into marine mammals. And if this is happening to polar bears now, why couldn't this have happened to the human line at some point in our evolution?
Could we be descended from a group of apes that were once becoming marine mammals?
Yeah, I love these flashback scenes. When they just take educated guesses on what it was like on 7 million years ago.
This is Africa 7 million years ago, for those of you who can't read the subtitles on the screen. That's Latino Heat.
That's the guy who lost 80% of his face in Miami.
Scientists believe our ancestors left the forest for the sea. But what pulled them here? What drew them to the water's edge? It was food. It is even thought our ability to walk fully upright first evolved here, wading in the shallows where food was easily found. The trees had been our cradle, but now we would be shaped by the sea. Over time, more human ancestors collected along the shoreline. It is even thought that this is where our advanced intelligence began to develop. Brain-building nutrients like iodine and fatty acids were abundant in the crustaceans and shellfish that could be gathered here. We were beginning to change, and so was the environment. Earthquakes, volcanic activity along the coast. The East African coast would soon be flooded over by a rising sea. Some of our ancestors pulled inland, retaining some of the features they'd adapted during this aquatic period of their evolution. Others went in a different direction.
$6.5 million years ago.
If our distant ancestors spent time living in the sea, is it possible that one group split off from the rest? And rather than retreating from the water, did they go deeper in?
So what do you think now?
Yo, what's tough about that is whenever I hear a scientist talk to me, I always just believe him without me even thinking about anything. I just believe everything he says.
Well, now we have a doctor on the mic, Dr. B, Dr. Butters. You want to give your opinion on what you've seen so far? Feel free to grab your microphone and turn it on.
And my mind can't really wrap around evolution. Like the whole thought process of something taking 500,000 years. I don't know. I can't put my mind around that either.
You're more of a theory in God created us all as we are?
Oh, hell no. No, absolutely not.
What the
I'm a
fuck do you
firm
think?
believer in evolution, but I'm saying my mind doesn't wrap around the process of, okay, so they hung out by the water, that's why we have webbed hands and webbed feet. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, to me that makes sense. You think about our society now and how fucking all the people that don't die young because we have like medicine and stuff that can heal premature babies and things like that. That's why our society is getting stupider and stupider, because we're beating evolution with medicine. And,
Yeah, there's no more natural selection.
Right. So I think that makes sense to me. Like, why do giraffes have long necks? They say because the ones that could survive could reach the higher trees.
Yeah, I was always a firm believer of that because that just makes sense. I just have trouble seeing the whole development of going from water to land, or if we started off on land and then some went to water just because they were able to live better in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope towards the end of this we get to see a real mermaid.
Yeah, I doubt she's going to have
that's
seashells
not
on
gonna
her.
happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm hoping.
I think we already saw the mermaid, the little black splotch.
No, you see more.
Oh yeah, what about the spears?
I'm
The
sure they're
spears
going to
was
get back
cool.
to that.
Yeah, the spears was badass. It's just that since we watched so much River Monsters and we saw that people used to fish by just hanging spears or hooks right over the boat with a line, it makes me just think that that's fish that got away from the rope that the spear was tied to when they were trying to fish. What was the name of that way of fishing? It was called drop hooking.
I don't remember. I mean, those spears are pretty intricate spears that I'm surprised they would last that long in the water, which makes me kind of feel like, oh, well, maybe just a tribe in Africa or whatever stabbed these whales and then they didn't kill them. So
Yeah, but they looked like bone spears. And then the guy that saw it took a picture. He was up in like the Baltic.
Yeah, he was
anywhere-
deep,
yeah.
deep sea.
do whales migrate with currents? Like with the
No.
they do not?
No, they probably do. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That'd be a great question for Animal Planet to unlock for us. Oh, by the way, Bremison, if you ever take a piss break again while we're actually talking on mic, then you're fired from being our Twitter entertainer, advertiser, whatever you will.
Yo, I love older women with huge turds. Did you see the commercial of that chick with the bathing suit on? Wearing the Boschkoff's bathing suit, I think this is.
No, but I get the Boskow's catalog. I'll jerk off to it later.
Really? Even at your ripe age, you still jerk off to catalogs?
Every now and then, you just need to take something out from underneath your mattress and get busy.
And you go back to the basics.
Right.
Never forget where you came from when it comes to rubbing one out.
Exactly. So, by the way, if you're just tuning in, this is the Rayman and Guy Blow show, doing a live watch of Animal Planet's show, Mermaids, A Body Found. It's going to kick ass.
And yes, we are seriously nerds at heart, because I really do enjoy every documentary that comes on Science Channel, Animal Planet, History, National Geographic. And I'm pretty naive when it comes to believing anything they put on TV.
Oh, absolutely. My whole Ethereum on the zombie apocalypse happened from one of the shows. But Ripley's Believe It or Not, there was actually another zombie apocalypse attack in Washington, D.C. today.
Yeah, was that the anal sex victim?
I don't know. The dude ate his heart and his brain, though.
Wow.
So, if you're out there right now and you're listening to us, please just write in the chat if the television sounds good on air. We know that the video struggles at times, but hopefully you can watch on Animal Planet along with us. We are currently, about a half hour in.
Yeah, about a half hour.
We are, 34 minutes in. So.
Yeah, so you could just hit start over and fast forward to 34 minutes.
You can't hit start over. You would have to pause it on your television at home now and wait for us to catch up. Because if you hit start over, you can't use the fast forward feature.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's Animal Planet. And we got a future doctor in the room. The doctor hasn't said much. What do you think, Doc?
I guarantee the doctor will grab a microphone after 3 beers.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm just enjoying the show.
What are you eating for dinner, by the way?
green stuff and some couscous and some chicken. It tastes really weird though. I got out of the salad bar.
Oh, where'd you stop? Price Chopper?
ShopRite.
Oh, ShopRite.
We detailed every stranding that followed the Washington State event, trying to establish a pattern of naval involvement.
If we could prove that this was a new species being affected, we figured that this might give us leverage, that we could compel the Navy to divulge what they're doing and possibly stop it. We had strong circumstantial evidence, but we would need more, and that's what the South African beaching gave us. What made this beaching stand out was that our South African colleagues had made a recording of their own.
Well, we of course had heard of the work of Dr. McCormick. We'd heard the reports linking large-scale beachings to sonic events. And we'd also heard the rumors that such an event may have affected a species as yet unidentified to science. And of course, we heard of the bloop recording. My name is Dr. Gavin Dittmar. I am the head of acoustic research at the Marine Biology Research Center at the University of Cape Town. We had an underwater array just about a kilometer off the tip of Cape Town. And this was part of a research program to monitor whale populations at certain times of the year. That's why we contacted Dr. McCormick. We now believed that we had found the same thing.
When we heard that recording, we immediately accepted an invitation to make a research visit. We arrived about 40 hours after the event. And again, we weren't the first. Other official investigators had already come and gone.
The South African beaching was the biggest since the Washington State event, and here again, we were seeing the exact same patterns of sonic trauma.
What was different in South Africa was the recording itself. Here we had another bloop signature, the same mystery creature that we recorded. We had the same low-frequency sonic blast. But here, it was what happened before the blast that was revealing. Here was a bloop call similar to the one we recorded. It was obviously the same kind of creature. And this time, there was dolphin chatter on the recording. Not surprising, dolphins are in these waters and they get stranded in these events as well. But here there was communication, back and forth communication between our bloop creatures and the dolphins, which made us think, is it a dolphin? Is it some new species of dolphin? And from that point on, that's what we thought we were looking for.
To that point, we only had acoustic evidence. But physical evidence, that was the breakthrough that Dr. Dittmar gave us.
It's a great white shark. It's not the shark. It's what's in the shark.
It was a mess, and it smelled pretty terrible. There were parts that looked like they might have been from a dolphin, parts that looked like they're from a seal, but no seal or dolphin we'd ever encountered. And there were other body parts too. We had no idea what we were looking at, but we thought right away, jackpot. This was something new. This was a new species. There were puncture marks around the shark's gills and mouth, and I initially thought these might have been injuries sustained when it was gaffed to the side of the boat. But I probed one of them, and I found a stingray barb inside. Now, this could have come from a stingray defending itself. Sharks eat stingrays. Hammerheads do, tigers do. But not great whites. So I kept the barb. I thought it might be something I could publish in a journal or something. I just thought it was interesting.
After entering the sea, the aquatic apes would now be better adapted to their new world. They've lost most of their hair and can hold their breath for minutes at a time. They are still learning how to hunt. They're learning by observation. Unexpectedly, the dolphins scatter. For now, the aquatic apes must hide. But eventually they will learn to defend themselves against the dangers present in their new world.
With Pizza Hut's $10 any carry-out deal, we can get any delicious pizza.
Yo, you know what they're not covering in this whole evolution thing?
What's that?
If they can hold their breath for 20 minutes, where do they sleep? What do they...
They still gotta sleep.
What do you think they do? Just float on their backs?
No, they must have some way to get out of the water.
Yeah, there might be like underwater caverns or something too.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, haven't you ever seen like Pirates of the Caribbean?
I've never seen Pirates of the Caribbean, but I've heard that if you bring some type of balloon-shaped object underwater, and then you can fit your head under it, you can actually find pockets of air.
Well, I think too, the original theory was, well, we could hold our breath for 20 minutes underwater, so why not adapt to living near the water? And then maybe after 1 million years, somehow they develop some sort of gills. I don't know.
Yo, have you ever seen...
That would be a little far-fetched.
The show 30 for 30 on ESPN, it always does like weird stories for a half hour or an hour or whatever it is.
Of course, seen them all.
Yeah, and they showed the guy who's called the Human Mermaid, and he holds the world record for being able to hold his breath. I think he does like 20 or 24 minutes, and he also has the deep sea diving record. That guy's diaphragm, because he works it out so much, is so weird, and when he moves in the water, he really does look like a fish. You gotta look the guy up. I think it's called the Human Mermaid.
That sounds pretty interesting. Bremerson said they had a tiny island they chilled on. Yeah, but I mean, I think we would see them on a tiny island with all the exploration that we've done if it was above water. I don't know, just my personal take on it. I'm going to try and take that Bud Light sign and put it over the screen of my laptop. And, because sometimes when it's a real dark screen on the TV, it has a reflection. So. Hand me that.
What do you need?
Bud Light sign.
Yeah. Bud Light sign. You mean Bud Light box, right? Yeah. Oh, all right. And then I'm gonna need you to.
Don't forget this episode of Mermaids, brought to you by Animal Planet, is brought to you by Bud Light.
God, I would love for them to stock this refrigerator. Yeah, I need you to examine that surge protector because I'm gonna need to plug this laptop in.
Can you still see the video on the TV, or is the box blocking it?
No, the box is blocking it.
Don't unplug anything yet, Butters.
I think it's a mixture of just the laptop's webcam can't catch the fast refresh rates of the TV.
No, I understand that, but literally I could see the screen.
Yeah, so could I. It was like reflecting.
All right.
If you actually go underneath the heater there, you can plug your laptop in there.
All right.
Or if it can reach over to this wall, there's one right here. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna give you guys some commercials here.
I gotta take a fierce shit too. Under this heater, bro?
Yeah, the light that the lantern. No. It's under the heater. Here, you might-
like let's get under.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
The outlet is underneath the lamps thing. Is that gonna reach? Yeah, that should reach. Interesting, right? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Doesn't mean Ariel's there, but
Was that new shop, right? That one that everyone's been raving about?
essentially, yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah, not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was real nice. Wow. Yeah. Not Bremison, it was 1,000,000 years ago. Or it was 6 million years ago. 1,000,000 years of evolution.
Yeah, and then after 500,000, they were just kind of they just started developing the webbing.
So, what do we want to do? We want to fast forward through the rest of this, or you got more to say?
The one thing I have to say is that if this ever catches on and get a good number of people that like to watch shows with random people, Whale Wars would be fabulous. Nothing like picking on a bunch of rich pussies.
Yeah, and if we did that, we wouldn't even bother with talking just during commercials. We just talk the whole time.
Just be the whole show, 'cause who gives a fuck about Whale Wars?
Yeah. This was our theory when we originally thought about doing this, too. Watching games, calling games.
The first time the weapon was tested off the coast of Washington, it was a disaster. We were caught off guard completely by the aftermath. The beach hadn't been secured. It was left wide open to anyone who passed by that morning.
By the way, this guy is one of 2 people that are ex-Navy who decided they would come out and talk about this. So this is actually someone who was part of the project that was testing that low radar. What was it? Low radar military.
It was a low frequency sonar radar.
Yeah.
That they believe was used
Weaponized.
as a weapon.
Weaponized. Yeah. So yeah, we'll go back to it.
Those boys happened to be in the right place at the wrong time. At first, it looked like they were going to be a problem. They refused to recant their initial statement about what they saw. Finally, we convinced one of the boys' mothers that they hadn't seen what they thought they'd seen. People usually don't want any trouble when the military is involved. The mother was smart enough to make the boys change their statements. We kept surveillance on the boys, but they weren't telling their story to anyone. They kept quiet about the entire event. After that first test, we didn't leave any beaches unsecured again. We weren't going to let anyone else find anything.
Is that the first thing when people see dead bodies, poke it with a stick?
Crazy.
We got the body back to the lab, and the condition of the remains was poor. We recovered about 30% of the body, so it was going to be difficult to piece together.
The first thing we did was to take DNA samples to try and establish the genetic makeup.
we started by looking at the rib cage, and it appeared to be hinged. A collapsible rib cage is a feature of marine mammals who have evolved to dive. The tail fluke was the best preserved, and it looked a lot like a manatee's. We wondered if maybe that's what this could be, some relic population or undiscovered relative of this animal. We took an x-ray. There were bones in the tail fluke. Manatees don't have that. So we're thinking, what on earth is this?
The skull was severely damaged. Half of it was missing. But one important piece that we did have was a partial forehead plate. This contained a hole that was not part of the damage. We presumed it was a blowhole. We made resin casts of the skull fragments and sent them to a forensic expert.
But then we looked at the pelvis. There were remains of leg bones. Seals have leg bones, but their thigh bones are short. We could tell that the ones in our specimen were long. So this thing is not a seal, it's not a manatee, and although it talks to dolphins, it's not a dolphin, at least not from what we're seeing. So what else on earth would be smart enough to communicate with dolphins? What else is out there?
A creature that once hid in shadows now swims in open sea.
So this was all together 2.5 million years of evolution.
Here. They are bonded with another intelligent being. It is a bond of friendship. For now, they play together. In time, they will hunt together. Their ancestors slept in trees. They now swim through them. Their transition would be complete. Like the dolphins, they would belong to the sea.
One of the best things about State Farm is accessibility. Oh yeah. You can call us 24/7. Get quotes.
They would play that queer ass music to like totally discredit everything that they've showed so far.
Absolutely. The music discredits it, and then they were going at 500,000 year increments. Then all of a sudden they took a 3-time amount that skip in time, and they went 1.5 million.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
now all of a
they're
sudden
just throwing darts. They're just guessing, you know.
Yeah, and then now all of a sudden, no more slow evolution process of webbing and bones missing, so you can grow that fin.
Well, that's still slow. It's 1.5 million years.
Yeah, but it was doing 500,000 a year. 500,000 year increments, and then it did 1.5. So it did kind of a 3 times chronological skip. And then of course they make the mermaid.
They only got 2 hours of show.
Yeah, but they make the mermaid look like a dark, gothic Little Mermaid.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be like bright and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just because of photosynthesis, it can't be bright if they're always at the bottom of the ocean.
So,
I don't know. I'm kind of mad we just saw that part. I was honestly believing everything.
I am too, because I did
said.
not see that part before. Here's the deal, though. I mean, they're just trying to recreate something, and eventually they have to introduce the idea of, hey, these are mermaids, not gorilla water people. So, and I mean, the only thing, I don't know, that body that they found inside the shark, I mean, I find that all pretty interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if that's actually really scientifically been, what's it called, documented in a journal?
Yeah, it is. That was the body that was found inside the shark.
Yeah.
So, the people that are doing the show are the ones that did the analysis on it.
Yeah, the only thing that I haven't really understood yet is what NOAA actually stands for and what these scientists do for a living besides saving beached whales.
I don't know. I'll look it up.
And then the other thing about this show that I can't believe I didn't say anything about yet is that the power of sound is crazy.
National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Oh, okay.
It's focused on the condition of the oceans and the atmosphere.
Gotcha. Yeah, because
So the
sound is
basic-
capable of doing that, though. You know that, right?
What's that?
Like how they were using a low-frequency sound as pretty much a weapon. And they
Yeah.
were just testing out the powers of the weapon, which was in return killing all these sea creatures, well, mammals, because they have the ability to hear. Because they were also testing that weapon in another conspiracy documentary or another documentary that's kind of far-fetched, that's not going to be headline news. They said they were testing it around third world countries, and that explains all the tsunamis and other wild weather, because they would shoot the sound in the ionosphere, which would then in return do all that crazy weather. It's almost like a weather gun.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I think that was an Austin Powers idea too, wasn't it?
I think every cartoon and every other really, really bad villain, you know, that's like a
Turtles.
comical villain, always wanted a weather gun.
Actually, I'm on NOAA.gov right now. Their top stories are NOAA predicts a near normal 2012 Atlantic hurricane season. The annual NOAA report shows a record number of rebuilt fisheries. Apparently, there are 6 separate fish populations declared to be completely rebuilt to healthy levels in 2011, bringing the number of U.S. Marine fish populations in the last 11 years to 27. So I guess by tagging animals as endangered, they've done a good job of rebuilding them.
Brian and I tried to make sense of the rest of the parts. We had found a bone. It wasn't part of this animal. It had markings along it, and at the top it had a little notch carved out. We had no idea what to make of this, so we set it aside for further study.
So I started working on the phalanges. Those are the bones that support the fin or flipper structure in a seal or dolphin. It was clear that these bones couldn't be configured into either of those arrangements.
We found something else. This animal had been affected by the naval sonar.
The NOAA team was now certain the Navy was not only affecting whales with their tests, they were also affecting a new species. The creature's physiology gave deeper insights into its behavior. Although it was damaged in the shark attack, they discovered a large spleen.
Large spleens are common features to marine mammals. It stores oxygen during deep dives. It's like having a built-in scuba tank inside them. The only reason to have this adaptation is to dive deep, to hunt for food.
Oh, that's where James Cameron did his dive. So he would have saw this mermaid.
He said he only saw little creatures down there. By the way, Bremerson asked if this would be front page news if this was real.
What?
Bremerson asked, would this be front page news if it was real? This all happened in '97, that it all started, and then documentation of the shark was '04. So this is the first time they're letting the results out. So I guess what you're saying is, ooh, I guess they like squid, huh? Calamari, even the mermaids.
Yeah. This is also why seafood's so good for you.
Every
too.
time we found something new, a dozen more questions would pop up. Dr. Dr. McCormick invited someone else to take a look. The South Africans were taking so long getting the permitting to get the material out of the country that Brian flew him in.
My specialty is in biomechanics.